Welcome to this session on creative thinking and innovation. And you already know before you continue on this session, you're supposed to have taken this pre-test. So if you've not, pause right now and take this pre-test. And you already know who is speaking. This is Ezine Uzoije. And we're going to be looking at what creative thinking is, what innovation is, the benefits to creative thinking and innovation, how you can understand the cycle of innovation, skills for creative thinking, and methods and tools for generating ideas. We're also going to be looking at the concept of plagiarism and inspiration. So, this session promises to be interesting, so stay connected. So when you hear the word creativity, when you hear the word innovation, what comes to mind? Do you think they are the same thing? Just pause right now and really think about it. What do you think is creativity? What do you think is innovation? All right, so let's look at the definition of these two things. Creativity is the generation of ideas in an attempt to solve a problem. Is when you come up with new ideas so that you can solve a problem that is existent, or when you come up with ideas in order to produce something new. So ideas is the key word to note there. It's like creativity is the generation of ideas in the attempt to solve something. Now, innovation is different. Innovation is the implementation of those ideas, all right, that you generated from the creative process. So it's like innovation follows after creativity. When you've come up with a couple of ideas to solve a problem, to produce something new, innovation is how you actually implement those ideas. Innovation transforms those ideas into something tangible, into something concrete, right? So a better way to look at this also is creativity as bringing a unique approach or a new way of thinking to the way you are doing something. So there's this quote by Thomas Edison, which says there's a way to do it better, find it. So when you are being creative, it means that you're always thinking of what better way can we do something? What better approach can we use to do something? And then innovation is the result of that creative process. Have you ended up with something new? Have you ended up with something better? Right? That's innovation. So creativity is that you think up new ideas, right? It's like the input. You think up new ideas. Then innovation is you putting it into action, you bringing up a result, an output for that thinking. So I hope this is clear. And I want you to just think right now, where are the places that you've exhibited creativity and innovation so far? If you really think about it, think. Where are the places that you've had ideas? Where are the places where you've implemented those ideas? Can you think of anything? You can actually share with us in the comment section. Let's know. Share it with us in the comment section. So, what are the benefits of creative thinking? There are actually many benefits that are attached to thinking creativity. When you're generating new ideas, you have this sense of fulfillment, right? It means that you're actually constantly thinking of new things and all of that. So it also serves to exercise your brain cells. Your brain cells feel stretched to bring you more results, help you in continuous development of your brain cells. Another benefit to creative thinking is that you're able to provide solutions to problems in the world. And if you look around you, there are lots of problems. The fact that there's no constant electricity in this part of the world is a problem. And that's even a big part of it. If you look around you in small corners, there are problems that are existent. And when you're able to think of new ideas, you can be able to solve those problems. And then, of course, when you're thinking of new ideas, when you're thinking creatively, it makes you a better problem solver. And you're able to connect with your world, you're able to connect with people around you because generally people want to relate with people that are constantly bringing up new ideas, new ways of doing things, new ways of solving problems. And the solution to, when you're able to bring up solutions to problems, it gives you opportunities for financial growth. Every business that you're seeing today is existing because there's a problem they are solving, there's a need they are filling. All right. So when you're able to think of ideas, you are able to improve your financial status. You're able to have a lot of people that can be going for those ideas that you bring out, and then you get rewarded with money for that. And when you actually think creatively, when you come up with new ideas, it opens up the windows for other ideas to come up. Because when you come up with a new idea, you see that it's something that can build upon another idea, and then another one results from it. So ideas upon ideas, you should actually make out time to think creatively towards certain things. Are you noticing a problem in your environment? Think about it. What do you think could be used to solve that problem? What solution do you think can be used to solve that problem? And the thing is, the challenge to thinking of new things is just in our confidence. If you actually sit down to think about it, everybody can come up with new ideas. But then sometimes it's based on people don't even believe that they can bring up new ideas, new ways of solving problems. So make up time and think of challenges that you see around you, challenges that you experience personally. You may come up with a better approach for solving those challenges. Now, there are actually skills that you will need for creative thinking for you to be able to think of new ideas that are relevant, that can actually be used as solutions to problems. Number one is analytical skills. Analytical skills is simply the ability to examine things carefully to understand what they mean. When you are analytical, it means that when you're looking at a problem, you're looking at it in terms of analyzing the problem, analyzing a possible solution for it. Analytical skills are very important because it helps you to see things that others will not see. It helps you to better understand things and bring up better solutions for them. Another skill is open mindedness. So, open mindedness means you're setting aside any assumption, any bias that you may have, and then you're looking at things in a completely new way. You're looking at things objectively. Open mindedness is not something that is easy for somebody that is not already open minded, but you can work at these things differently. When you're open minded, it means you're setting aside any assumption. You're actually letting yourself to not assume things. You're actually letting yourself to not hinge on biases. You're not saying, oh, someone is already doing it. Oh, this one we have is enough. Oh, this and that is the government. You're not blaming things. You're actually setting aside any assumption, and then you are willing to think of something in a new way. Another skill you need is problem solving skills. Of course, this is closely linked to analytical skills. Problem solving skills are the ones that you usually develop when you are solving all those hard mathematical calculations. It means that when you've analyzed something, you are thinking of how can that thing be solved? How can that problem be solved? You're thinking of the possible solutions. You're making up different things that can be used to solve that problem. Another one is to be able to organize your ideas because these ideas may not come fully formed, it may not come in a straightforward manner, but when you're able to write them down, when you're able to just collate everything that comes to your mind, you may be able to really select the ideas that make sense for solving any problem. You also need strong written and oral communication skills, maybe for you to converse with somebody and someone could just drop an idea that now links every idea that you had in your mind together. But if you're not able to communicate this to someone else, maybe you may miss that opportunity. You also need to have good listening skills, and that means that you're able to understand things before analyzing. So, good listening skills come into play, for instance, when a problem that is in your location, a problem that you also witness, you may want to ask someone else what their opinion is about that problem, what their opinion is about getting solutions for that problem. So, when you're able to understand their own points, it can help you before you start analyzing the entire problem because they are seeing it from another person's angle. Right. So I hope you learned something from this quick exposition on creative thinking. Let's look into innovation. Now, there's something called the cycle of innovation, and that means that innovation happens in certain processes. So this is the innovative innovation cycle, and it's a continuous process. So I'll start with this first cycle, which is the empathize cycle. And at this cycle, you get to learn about your audience, the audience that you are thinking of solutions for, the audience that you implement those ideas for. You get to learn more about them because when you learn more about them, you're able to better understand their problem, you're better able to understand their need. The second cycle, you get to define their needs and their problems. Define what they're going through, see it through your own eyes, see it through their own eyes, get to give it a name, give it a proper definition and balance. The third one is to ideate. That means you're coming up with creative solutions to the problems of your audience. You've seen how it interconnects right now. You're now coming up with creative solutions to the problems of your audience. So by this time, you've understood your audience, you've understood their problem, and now you are coming up with solutions for their problems. And the fourth one is prototype. Here, you build a representation of your ideas right here. You build something that you can use, like a little implementation of that idea you've come up with, something that can be used to solve their problem. It's like a little prototype, something that can be gotten started with. And then the fifth one, you test your ideas. You test that prototype that you've made, right? So when you test your idea, you're going back to your audience again. So that's why I say that it's a continuous cycle, because you could test it on your audience and you see it doesn't properly solve their problem, and then you go back to ideating and prototyping again. So this is how the cycle of innovation works. It comes up like this a lot in clients, projects, in work, in everything you do generally in business. And because it's a cycle of innovation, is intertwined in the creative process, you will notice there's the ideation right here that happens. So in the creativity process, empathizing and defining is called preparation phase in creativity process. And then ideation and then having a prototype, you see it in the incubation and illumination phase, where you're incubating your idea. Illumination is where you're coming up with a prototype, and testing is in the verification phase. This is just what you see in the creativity process. So the innovation cycle is a continuous cycle and is intertwined in the creativity process. This is just concepts. You see it play out in practical solutions where you're working on projects and briefs. Right. So there are methods and tools for generating ideas, and one of them is brainstorming. So what does brainstorming mean? It means that you just take out time and task yourself to just think of things, right? Think of many things, and then you're writing them down as they're coming. So the truth is, when it comes to brainstorming, we believe that no idea is useless. Write as much as that comes to your mind, because when it comes to brainstorming, you will notice that one idea could be connected or could be joined to another idea to bring up a profitable result. And most times you can do this brainstorming in a team or with a group of people and not alone. All of you can just decide, oh, we're going to take our 15 minutes, 10 minutes to brainstorm on an idea, on a way to solve this client's problem, to solve this to solve this problem, to bring up an application solution, etc. Another thing is you can seek the power of people. That means you are harvesting ideas, you're seeking people's views about solving a problem. So you're asking them for their ideas. You will notice that this comes in form of surveys. So most times when you're doing research on coming up with a solution to a problem, creating an app, maybe you've come up with some ideas, but you may want to put out a survey, ask people how best do you think can be solved, how best can you think this so problem that is existent can be solved. And most times it's better than when you're seeking the ideas of people, you're seeking the views of people. It should be the audience that is also experiencing that problem, because they may better have ideas that can help them solve that problem. So remember, there's a quote by Harvey Firestone here, which says that what is very important is ideas. That once you have ideas, is the main asset that you need. There's no limit to what you can do once you have ideas, and this can be exemplified in a lot of things. You basically need to get started with an idea. It helps you to know what to now implement going forward. Now let's look at the concept of plagiarism and inspiration. Plagiarism is when you actually steal someone's work, right? And then someone's writing, their language, the thoughts, the representation, as if it was your own original work. You're not supposed to do this when you're actually working on for people, when you're bringing out solutions. Don't be the one that steals people's work. Don't be the one that steals people's ideas, their writing, their thoughts. You may see this play out on little circles like on social media. You may post something, someone else will just take it out and repost as if he was the one that came up with it. These are little ways, but in those manner, that's when someone can start breeding the habit of plagiarism. Plagiarism is not something that you should be found doing in corporate or business circles. You shouldn't be known anywhere that you took something that is not yours as if it was yours. And this is different from maybe open source projects or software that is available out there. But if it's not something that is not yours, if someone did something, he has a copyright, you're not supposed to take it up as yourself. Now, there's the place of getting inspired by someone else's work. Maybe you saw something and then you dwelt further on it and got your own idea. Fine, that is beautiful. You should be on the side of inspiration and not on the side of plagiarism. So be the one that is inspired by people's work, think of new ideas, think of new solutions to problems, and not the one that is stealing other people's work, other people's thoughts and language to actually pass off as your own. It will always come back biting at you, and sometimes people go the long haul of actually suing. So don't be the one that takes people's projects, people's work. Get inspired rather by other people's work. And we've come to the end of this, and I know it may have seemed quite technical for you, but just remember that creativity is you thinking of new ideas, while innovation is you implementing those ideas. And always remember that the innovation process is a continuous one. You could come up with an idea and then you implement something and you notice it's not a true solution, and then you keep working at it to arrive at a solution. And don't steal people's work, don't take up people's work and pass them off as your own. It will always get found out. Instead, get inspired by other people's work and look for better ways to actually create yours. All right, so don't forget to take the post test at this link. Go ahead and take the post test at this link. And if you have any questions at all, drop them on Slack. Somebody would respond to them. To the next one. See you.